Hello, I'm Edith Bowman.
And I'm Michelle Collins.
And a very warm welcome to On the Box. This is the podcast where we celebrate the latest releases and most loved shows on BritBox and beyond.
And I don't even know if I have words to express how excited I am for the guest this week, because we're going to be joined by the award-winning legend that is Brenda Blethyn. We're going to be talking to her about her role as Emma Hart in the recent brilliant adaptation of Barbara Taylor's A Woman of Substance. Brenda, one of my favorite actresses. Every time I see her, I know we are in for a treat. And you know her, of course, from Vera and Mrs. Bennet in the 2006 film adaptation of Pride and Prejudice.
I would say legend, icon. She's an institution, a beautiful British creative institution, I would say.
Well, you know, she also is my only celebrity impression from her brilliant role in the film, Secrets and Lies. You know, I have my own podcast and I do Brenda. I want to say once a month I break out my Brenda Blethyn impression, and it's only done with nothing but reverence, you know, but I just love her. And that has to be one of my favorite films ever, Edith.
Well, come on, give us a bit of it now.
Sweetie, darling. Please don't make me perform on command, Edith. It's so rude. I mean, really, this is a classy podcast with classy listeners. They don't want to hear it.
Well, talking of classy, due to technical issues today, I bring you my side of the podcast from the beautiful, sunny British countryside. You might be able to hear, well, at the minute you can hear an airplane in the background, but beautiful bird song and the sound of the Cotswolds coming to you through your ears today. Can you hear the birds?
Do I hear the birds? Of course I do. I thought they were just thrilled to hear my Brenda impression. Yes, there's nothing more relaxing in English to me than just some sweet birds in the sunshine. And we know because it's been a heat wave throughout Europe, girl. I mean, really, how have you been holding up through the UK heat wave?
Well, I kind of lucked out in that I actually was in France in a place called Annecy, which is about an hour's drive south of Geneva, nestled in the kind of, it's cuddled by the Alps in this sort of little lake town. And it's where the annual Annecy Animation Film Festival takes place. And so I was out there. So I basically had an alpine lake to dive into at any whim, which I did quite frequently. And just to give you an idea of how hot it was, you walk 5 minutes down the kind of road and you're dry. So I was kind of just in and out there non-stop. It was beautiful. So I feel like I lucked in. And I only got back yesterday. So now I'm getting the full force of it, to be honest.
What I would give to be cuddled by the Alps. I've heard such amazing things. No, that does sound like heaven. And I mean, imagine the privilege of being able to be like, well, I didn't really experience the heat wave because I was in a French lake. so chic. I love this life for you so much. Oh, it's fabulous.
How are you coping with it? Because you're in Amsterdam, aren't you?
Yes. So I got back to Amsterdam last weekend. And for those who don't know, I actually lived here for over 2 years, mainly because skeletally, I always felt very safe here. I'm quite tall. Everybody here is around my height. So and it's a beautiful city. I'm sure you've been 100 times, but it really is staggeringly gorgeous here.
Yeah, it's got a bit of everything as well. You know, it's kind of got that kind of tourist vibe. We've got some great museums and galleries, amazing walking opportunities. You can jump on the bike. The canals have got that appeal. Great nightlife, great shopping. Yeah, it's a great place.
No, it's really amazing. And it's funny though, in all my years of living here, I never once owned or rented even a bicycle.
What?
I know. And I did that. I'll tell you, I did that because I'm uninsured. And every person I know who has moved here and gotten a bicycle has gone over the handlebars, hit their face, like something horrible happened to them. And I'm just someone who, I know myself, I know my skills and my limits. And I said, I can't test God that way. And I never did it. And you know what? I have no regrets about it.
Well, I guess there is that issue with your beautiful height, is that kind of center of gravity issue, I guess, as well.
Well, that's why I've never rollerbladed. You know, when I was young and I bought rollerblades. First of all, I'm 6'1" or 185 for those overseas listeners. And I would put rollerblades on. I would be 6'6". You could feel the ground move. You could see me coming from a mile away. A shadow would be cast from 3 blocks down. And it was almost impossible for me to maintain my balance because any little thing in the road, I could do it on a flat surface, but any little pebble, anything, it was over.
I just have a beautiful visual image in my head right there. It's just like, oh God, so good.
Just this lovely big boned woman just going 47 miles an hour.
We should have a little rollerblade session around Hyde Park when you get back to London. I would love that.
That's
hand
great.
in hand.
I would love that. Our hands wouldn't reach. I don't think you understand. Like, I would love nothing more, but I would look like a woman and her toddler essentially going, because Edith is quite petite every time we're together. It wouldn't look normal. It would be very Muppet Babies coded for those who watched that show. You know, where you only saw her legs? That would be a bit of that, But otherwise, listen, sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, I know what when the weird way my brain works, where I was like, you have to talk to Michelle about this quickly. We're getting more the other Bennett sister. Did you see this week?
Did I see it?
Talk about this.
Did I see it this week? And can I add that I was a little bit hurt because they did not tell us that. I had to learn about it like all of
the internet.
Yes, like all of you non-BBC employed people. And I thought, don't we have an in to get like some... I am so excited. They're doing 3 Christmas episodes.
That's amazing. Yeah, I felt slightly the same, considering we had like 80% of the cast on the podcast.
Yeah.
Surely one of them could have kind of at least given us a little, soupçon of exclusivity to that. That would have been amazing.
It would have been incredible. But I want you to explain to me and our other American listeners the importance of an English Christmas special, because it's something that we really never do in the US. But I know that I know that it's sort of like a UK tradition, right? To have these Christmas shows.
Yeah, it's I mean, I think I remember it for my entire life of there being shows where there's a Christmas special. There's things like some of the soap operas where they're on Christmas Day, and there's always a kind of like EastEnders is a big BBC show that's been running for centuries, that always has a big kind of cliffhanger thing happen on the Christmas special. But then you get all these dramas where it might be between seasons that you just get a one-off where you're diving into them, and it might not necessarily be themed around Christmas, but most of them are. Gavin and Stacey was a big one where I think it was last year or the year before where they came back with this big kind of finale Christmas special, and so the idea is, I guess, is that we get a quick burst back into the world and the characters to this one-off show, and it's not really connected to a specific storyline that we're already in or we've just finished. It's just a kind of, here's a burst. But the fact that did you say there's going to be 3 episodes of The Other Bennett Sister?
I sure did. Well, listen, they're not silly. They're going to capitalize off of the incredible popularity and success of the show. And I think, and I don't know if you feel this way, and we certainly have, as you can tell, no ins here apparently, but I would think they're going to bring it back even after that for more. I mean, I don't want to get people excited. I'm just speculating, but it just feels like the world yearns for more Other Bennett Sister.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's really lovely. I don't think they planned it. I think it's completely off of audience response and the love for the show, where they've gone, actually people want more, so let's give them more, which is great that they are responding that way. I do think there'll be more, to be honest. I think Ella's definitely got more Mary to tell for sure, and I want to hear more from her as well. Be interesting to kind of see what the Christmas special does, how they run it. Is it going to be 3 storylines? Is it going to be 1 storyline across 3 episodes? Yeah, I'm really interested to see what they do with it. Are we getting it Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and Boxing Day? I mean, how are they? So many questions.
Oh my God, I didn't know they were releasing it like that. That's exciting.
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Well, that would be the only thing to keep me home on Boxing Day, which, if for those who don't know, Boxing Day is the holiday. When do the Christmas sales start? Is it Boxing Day or the day after?
Boxing Day. Yeah, you're out the door. You're out the door at 7 a.m.
Let me just tell people, because it's something that truly changed me molecularly, that one year I was in London for Christmas, and I, the genius, decided to go to the outlet mall on Boxing Day.
Wow.
Edith Bowman, I didn't know y'all could roll that way. Like, I thought Americans were aggressive when it came to deals and, sample sales. No. For me, it was almost like a Titanic experience tour. I remember feeling like, oh, we're going to sink, even though we were on land. the way they were separating women and children and men to the left, to the right, you couldn't move. Like if I need a reason to stay home on Boxing Day, and this might be the reason because I don't recommend it. It's not worth whatever deal you think you're going to get. Please take my word for it. It is not worth it.
No. If you can think about those kind of, when you kind of Christmas Day, all the family comes together, you might have that thing where there's, I don't know, there's maybe years of pent up frustration amongst that family. You know what Christmas Day can be like? Those arguments bubble to the surface. Boxing Day sales are a way of people also releasing that pent up frustration that they've had over the Christmas period, as well as them wanting to get a bargain for a pair of shoes. It is brutal.
Well, now you're making me want to go again. See, this is how easily I'm swayed. Well, you just got me excited for essentially every single thing coming up this year. We have Other Bennett's Sister, Black Friday, Boxing Day. There's so much good to look forward to this year, and so much good to look forward to on this very episode because Brenda's coming on, and she is also the star of a brand new incredible show called A Woman of Substance, which is an adaptation of Barbara Taylor's novel. And Edith, what did you think of this incredible show?
I really liked it. I remember there being a version of this show when I was little growing up. My mum, I remember reading the book, and I remember she was slightly obsessed with this show because she's from a big family. They kind of, my grandma and granddad kind of came from nothing. My nana was a real kind of like, she was a hard worker. And I think my mum saw a bit of my nana in Emma Hart, the character that Brenda plays in Women of Substance. And so I was really excited to see this show, not just because of this history I have with it and fond memories I have of watching that version of it, but just Brenda in this role. And I mean, she's just I don't know, I think that she's such a pull. If I see her name attached to something, I'm like, I'm in. Because you just know that it comes with such heart, with such honesty. And I just thought she was fantastic in this. She played it so well. I loved seeing her in this kind of 80s get up, with the big hair and the costumes and just this kind of understated revenge that is kind of bubbling within her. I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it.
Well, and I know that Edith Bowman, your parents are perhaps her biggest fans because of her iconic. Your dad, because of her role on the show Vera.
Yeah, every time I go home, I think my dad spends maybe like 90% of his life watching Vera because it's also a really, I don't know if you have that thing with your parents where they're in Scotland, I'm down here in England. And so when I speak to them on the phone, my dad maybe lasts about 3 minutes on the phone. It's normally a hi, how are you doing? There's a conversation about the weather. And then Vera comes into the conversation. So when I knew we were going to be chatting to Brenda, I was like, I have to get them to ask a question. And I wanted to put my mum in there as well so that she didn't feel left out. And it kind of helped her deal with that slight jealousy she has over my dad's fantasy relationship with Vera, not Brenda. So I got them to ask a question for Brenda, which she very generously answered.
Oh my God. Well, I'm so happy for him because I can only imagine the joy. I mean, it's crazy that her coming onto the show is fulfilling so many dreams. Like just one interview, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is because certainly I know for us, it's a huge deal. We love every guest that comes on the show, and we've been so fortunate this season. But when they told us that Brenda Blethyn was coming on, I was like, oh, the world makes sense again. Every puzzle piece has fallen into place. We get to speak with this legend, this brilliant actress, and also just a lovely, funny woman.
Yeah, and I think that what's beautiful is that she doesn't do many interviews. I haven't seen her do many interviews, so we feel really, really kind of thrilled that she is our guest. And so please welcome to On the Box, Brenda Blethyn.
I have to say, I can't even believe this is happening here on the show. And I know that Edith and I are over the moon excited. I have loved this woman. I can't even count for how many years. One of the most brilliant actresses we've had. She looks so chic. I need to talk about the outfit. The whole look is beyond. She's the star of A Woman of Substance, which you can all watch on BritBox. Give it up for the one and only Brenda Blethyn. Hi, Brenda.
Hi. Thank you. Oh, you look
Brenda, your look.
fantastic.
Talk to us about your look before. I know people can't see you, but the hair, the cuffs, you're such a glamorous, lovely lady. What's happening today?
Oh, well, we've been doing a press junket here in London for a woman of substance for BritBox, etc. And, we have people come in and make you look good. It's
Love that.
great. Like to take them home with me.
Yeah,
They probably love
same.
that, honestly. Yeah.
Same. Listen, congratulations on this show. I absolutely gorged it. I couldn't. It's one of those things where one episode finished and you're like, and another, and obviously we have these kind of two eras of this fantastic character. But this is not the first time we've had this story. But I love this version of it, and I love you as this woman as well. What was
Oh,
the appeal for you in your telling of this woman in this story?
Well, as it happens, my mom was born in 1904 and was a scullery maid in a big posh house in Kent. And, she was what you call a skivvy. She was had to do whatever it was she was told to do. But she worked her way up to become a lady's maid. So that was a huge promotion for her. And she had to brush this lady's hair, she told me 100 times. I mean, you wonder the woman's got any hair left on her. Yeah, and she had to brush this long hair. And my dad, was the chauffeur, and they fell in love, and they used to he was born in 1894. So,
Wow.
like, the century before last, it seems odd saying that, but when we were growing up, we were very, very poor, but
Mm.
I'd say poorer than, Emma Hart, because at least they had a house that, that they lived in on the beautiful moors, so they were rich in that, but we had no television or radio. Sometimes we had a radio, but if we hadn't paid the bill, they came and cut it off. And so mum and dad would tell us stories, and it was great listening to them, in the early days of their
Mm,
romance and being in this big house. And the work, it was so hard. They
mm,
worked nearly every hour of the day. And, um, and it was kind of reminded me of that rather. And the book is so rich in detail. And and it's this unlikely story of this girl coming from penury, using her brain and
mm,
the injustices that she suffered at the hands of the Fairley family, the people she worked for. Because she had a brain, she was able and the wit to use it, because plenty of people had a brain but too frightened to use it,
yeah.
and to get away from that life, to work for herself and to create a future for herself, which was unlike anyone of the time, especially a woman in a
Mm,
man's world could achieve. It's quite a wonderful, wonderful story, but it's not patronizing in any way.
mm.
It doesn't ask for sympathy. It doesn't ask for anything of the audience except to watch, listen, and learn.
I'm so curious because hearing about your upbringing and that you didn't grow up with a lot, at what point were you like aware that you wanted to become an actress? Because I know that you sort of got your major success later than most actresses do. Usually, especially nowadays, it's like in their 20s they hit it big. When did you know this was my passion? This is what I wanted to do? And also, how did your parents react when you said, I want to actually be an actress?
Well, it actually happened by accident because when I left school at 17, and I'd done a commercial course at college and learned shorthand and typing, which is what all girls did, respectable girls did in those days. They became secretaries, and I did that for 10 years. And so I was 27, and I was working for British Rail in their freight marketing department.
She.
Wow.
And this lady came in and she said, "Oh, Brenda, excuse me, sorry to interrupt." She said, "I'm with the Huston Players Amateur Dramatic Society and we're entering a one-act competition in Manchester at the weekend." I said, "Yeah, what's that got to do with me?" She said, "Well, one of our actors is sick and we wondered if you'd step into the breach." I said, "What? No. Good heavens, no. Get on a stage? Me? No. No way." They said, "Oh, please, we're desperate. That's why we're asking you."
How rude. Based on that, I would have said no.
No,
So rude.
but but the desperation in her eyes, my heart went out to her. I said, "Oh," she said, "It's only one line." I says, "Oh, go on then." And I just love. We came last. I hasten to add, probably because of me. But I just love the whole camaraderie of it. I love you've got somebody selling tickets, somebody doing the costume, somebody screwing in a light bulb, and somebody banging a set together, and the actors. And I just thought, this is wonderful. All these skills coming together just
Mm.
for an evening's entertainment. So I joined the group, and they would do. I think it was 3 full-length plays, 3-act plays in the Rudolf Steiner Theatre in Regent's Park. And
Wow.
I absolutely loved it. And, the more you do of anything, the better you get.
Yeah.
And people started to say to me, "Do you know, Brenda, you could be professional." I
Hmm.
says, "Oh, what, don't be daft, give up my good job to pursue a hobby, don't be silly." And then I thought, well, I just love being in the theatre. It just felt right, like putting on some clothing that fits
Mm.
nicely. I just loved the theatre. What was that noise? Was that you or me? Anyway, I just
I
I
don't
just
even know if that
It's
was
loved.
a
happening.
ghost
That's
of
how good she is.
producers past or directors past from your stage
Yeah,
days.
it's the way they asked you to do that play. Furious in the background.
But and I thought, well, I wonder if I could do it. So secretly, without telling anyone, I applied to a drama school near to where we were living, and I got an audition, and blow me down, I got a place on the
Amazing.
course. So I was married at the time, mind you, to Mr. Blethyn, and between this was sort of must have been about April, May time.
Mhm.
But come September, he'd fallen in love with somebody else. So but a neighbour who was also a very nice lady, I have to say. I'm not
Wow.
saying anything, but I was out all the time at the amateur dramatics because I loved it so much. So I was sort of an absent wife, really.
You were
And
both cheating on each other, essentially.
yeah, yeah, kind
Yeah,
of, yeah.
yeah,
And,
beautiful.
but he supported me wholeheartedly
Oh,
when
wow.
I'd got this place at the theatre, and a lovely, lovely man, really nice. And,
Oh,
but I didn't tell mum and dad until I decided that was doing the right thing, that I was pursuing this avenue, and that I was doing the right thing. And then
wow.
once, they didn't really understand it, but then I got a job, and then 2.5 I got a place at the National Theatre, and my mum said to me one day, "Brenda, if you spend all your time doing this acting, when do you make your money?" I said, "What?" I said, "Well, they pay me, ma." She said, "July?" She says, "July? You got any more jobs coming up?"
That is
That's who's
hilarious.
very good. And then one day, I was on my way to meet her, and I was stopped by a group of students who had been to see the play, and they're going, "Oh, could we have your autograph?" And it was in the days when pre-phones, when you got the camera doing all that business.
Yeah.
And it took a little while, and when I got to my mum, I said, "I'm ever so sorry I'm late, mum. There's some students stopped me and wanted photos and wanted my autograph and all that." She says, "Oh, wasn't that lovely? Who did they think you were?"
Keeping you humble. That's what moms are there
Parents,
for.
man. What
Yes,
is it about parents? They like totally, you will keep both feet on the ground forever.
that
"Oh,
is
she's
hilarious.
wonderful. You're a wonderful woman."
That theatre element as well, Brenda, when you took that step into, working in film and TV, and I know that Michelle, like me, huge fan of Secret and Lies, working with
Oh,
Mike Lee, and
mm.
the approach that Mike took and still takes with that filmmaking is very much theatrical, in terms of giving you the opportunity to explore and improvise. There's never really a script. Is that
No, there's no script at
Wow.
all. In fact, you do not discuss what you're doing with anybody at all. And,
wow.
so that when you come into an improvisation, but the creation of the character is very, very much detailed on a one-to-one basis with Mike
Mm.
Lee, until, I mean, the smallest of details from infancy. What was the sounds from the house when you woke your eyes opened in the morning? What smells were coming from the kitchen? What was the
Mm.
view from the window?
Wow.
What was the feel of the bed covers? How many rooms were in the house? So all these details creates a memory, so that when you eventually come to do an improvisation, you're not inventing anything. You're not making anything up. You're just relaying what you know, what you've created. And when my character got to the age of 4, for instance, he said, "Would she notice that if the mother got fat?" I said, "Well, yeah, we've already spoke about that woman down the road because you create a whole neighborhood um, when she was having a baby. So if mum was getting fat, she'd ask, 'Are you having a baby?' And he said, and she would be right, and that baby turned out to be Timothy Spall. So then Tim and I would work out our route to school, our route to the dentist from where we live. We decided we lived, an extended family. What were the local shops like? There's all these things. It's created in such detail that, when you start improvising, you're not making anything up.
You're in the
It's
world.
amazing. So whatever job I do, I try to bring as much of that technique into it as possible.
I have to ask. My only impression, and I told our producers this before we started, is you in Secrets and Lies. It's the only celebrity impression I do. I have my own podcast. My listeners know it. It is one of my favorite movies ever. So was the "Sweetie Darling" line just thrown out by you? That was never written down? That was
Sweetheart.
"Sweet, sweetheart, darling." That was all
Yeah,
you?
sweetheart, darling. Yeah, sweetheart, darling. Yeah.
I'm so happy right now. Thank you for doing that. That fills me with the joy I can't even explain. That movie, I have to imagine that a lot of people, even to this day, come up to you and share their stories with you because the power of that mother-daughter relationship, which was obviously discovered later in life, and giving a child up for adoption, which we know is a totally heart-wrenching decision. Do you
Mm.
hear a lot of stories from people who have seen it and they choose to share with you
Yeah.
their
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah. Yeah, I do. Yeah, the people who were themselves adopted,
yeah.
and then, but some stories are joyful and others are not so. Um, but yeah, a lot of times that
I imagine it's
happens.
hard to, like, absorb all of that or, to have to take on so many people's joy and pain and everything else.
I think when it opened in America, um, I don't think Americans were able to trace their birth parents, and
Wow.
and I
Wow.
believe, I don't know if that's changed. I think it has changed,
Yeah.
but some people picketed the theater that we were playing in, and there was one lady. This lady she came for and we were, you're gonna have to do a Q&A after the show, so you try and look nice. Yeah. And this one lady had gone outside and she came back in and she was crying. And I said, and she says, "Oh, you just honestly, you." I said, "Oh, can I get you a seat? Are you all right?" I said, "I know it can be very moving." She says, "No, that's not it. You are wearing the best pair of shoes I have ever seen
Wow,
on
respect.
my life."
So funny. Who made them? Do you remember Chanel? What was the brand? I'm so curious now.
They were Escada shoes, I
Ooh,
remember,
chic.
with a
Very
matching handbag. Yes.
Love it.
so
Love
funny.
it.
So American. We're very shallow people, Brenda. I think you know
Yeah.
that about us
But
at this.
I was thinking, "Oh, I was very moving in this film. She just loved me in this film." It was my shoes. No.
I saw Dragonfly as well recently, which I thought was
Oh,
an extraordinary film, and you and Andrea on screen together as well. It's just like it's
thank you.
the best of the best on there. It was just
Thank you.
wonderful. Yeah.
I'm proud of that film. In fact, it just won an award in, Beijing. I
Oh
went to
wow.
China for the day. Uh,
Wow.
so there we were nominated for 3 awards, And the director said, "This is probably the last chance we're ever going to be nominated. So why don't you just get on a plane and come out?"
Wow.
I said, "Oh, what China
For the day.
for the
Yeah.
day?" So I said, "Oh, all right." And I got there Saturday lunchtime and left Sunday lunchtime. But we won all 3 awards.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Worth the trip.
yeah,
So deserved.
yeah.
You got
It was
awards and miles. I think it's a win-win.
7 hours each way. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was lovely. And Jason Watkins also, I think, is terrific.
Yeah, as your
I
son in
in
it.
the
Yeah.
yeah. Mm,
I
Yeah,
have to
really
bring
special.
another film up from my childhood because, again, this is such a dream interview, I know, for both of us, but you starred in one of my favorite children's movies ever, which was The Witches, and I'll tell
Oh,
you
wow.
that at the age of 9 years old, when I saw that film, the terror, the fear that coursed through my veins watching Anjelica Huston, one of the greats ever, but even you, because you were kind of a very selfish mother in that film. And I'm wondering, the experience of even working with, I know Jim Henson was a big part of that movie. Like, can you talk to us a little bit about making The Witches?
Oh, yeah, my sister was frightened to watch it because she's petrified of mice
Oy.
and just petrified of them. And, there was one bit where I think I've got them running all over me, but they were tame mice, obviously. They were not, well, given their rights, what they could do, what
They're
they couldn't
union.
do.
These are union mice.
Rada-mice.
Exactly.
And
Not
it
a
was
mice.
with wonderful, oh gosh, I'm so hopeless at remembering names. It was the
Oh,
wonderful actor played my husband,
I'll find
um,
out.
a
No,
Scottish actor. Oh, he's brilliant. Well, him, it was a
I'm
joy to
pulling
be with him. And Nick Rogue, who directed it, was great. Angelica. I remember on the wrap party we went on a boat down the Thames, and for some reason I can't remember why, but Angelica and I were singing opera on the prow of the boat at the top of our lungs. I don't know why, but we were. Must have been drunk.
Well, she's one of the greats, and she is living my dream because she owns a donkey farm. I've interviewed Angelica, and she has a farm.
What?
Yes, and Brenda, please invite us as well. I know Edith and I would love to attend Angelica Houston's donkey farm, but she's living her best life.
Oh my word! A patron of a riding for the disabled
Oh,
stables in
fantastic.
Durham. And just today, I had an email invited me to their annual national event for riding for the disabled in Gloucester. So I'm hoping to go to that.
Oh, that's
Here, did
lovely.
you
Brenda.
see this? Can you see this?
Yes,
Oh,
oh my
yeah,
goodness,
lucky
how
Yeah.
horseshoe.
nice.
There's a horseshoe, and when I used to go to the stables, I would ride Lucky. I mean, I'm not a horse rider, but I would sit on the horse and go around the paddock or around the field, but then Lucky was, retired,
Yeah.
and so last time I went, they gave me this, and inside the green is a hair from Lucky's mane.
Oh,
Wow,
Isn't that cute?
that's so
it's really
nice.
beautiful, really
Yeah.
stunning.
Bill Patterson.
Bill Patterson, the wonderful Bill Patterson. Yeah,
Legend Bill Patterson. Why didn't I
yeah,
remember
and
that?
it's sad. Why didn't I remember it? I was married to him in the film.
Okay.
Well, you've had a few, Brenda. There's been a few in in this amazing career. It's been like, yeah, for sure. I have to mention Vera as well. I mean, it's a phenomenon. I've actually got my mum and dad down from Scotland staying with me at the minute. And I kid
Ah,
you not, every time I go home, my dad is watching Vera. He just loves the show and he loves your character so much. And so it's
oh,
actually turned into kind of like our thing. So whenever I go home, we kind of sit down and watch it. What do you love about that character? And Anne Cleves has said that when she writes it with you. She hears your voice. You are this character.
yeah, I heard her say that. I was so flattered to hear her say that. Wow. I just feel uh, so comfortable in the role, to be honest with you. Um, and I have a little bit of input into it, and they trust me with it. Took a little while because I, I suffer from imposter syndrome
Mm.
a bit, and so people say, oh, wow, you've been so successful. How can that be? But that's nothing to do with anything. It's just every job I start, even Woman of Substance, day one, I was nervous and think, oh, crumbs, I'd heard so much, about Jessica. And then saw some footage and thought, oh, lummy, I can see what they're all going on about. She's brilliant. And then I turned up on day one and she'd just finished a scene. It was out on the moors. Have I already said this?
No.
She was out on the moors and it was dusk and there was a mist forming. It's just starting to drizzle and it was the most gorgeous setting. And I was turning up for my first scene and she'd just finished for the day and we just caught each other's eye in this mist, sort of like the Hound of the Baskervilles or something going around. And Catherine Jakeways was there as well, and Charlie Palmer, the producer. And we just all embraced. It was just so lovely. It was really, really a moment. Yeah.
Would it be cheeky of me if I actually have a couple of questions from two of your biggest fans, if that's all right. So I'm going to play this. Hopefully you can hear this.
Hello, Brenda. It's Sandy here. I'd like to ask a couple of questions to you. First one is, are you really thinking of getting another raincoat? And second question is, why are you so nasty to...
Here we go. That's because he's 80.
Kenny?
Yeah. Well, he deserves it. That's what. No, Kenny and I love John Morrison as the actor. And we had such a great time. In between scenes, we're having a laugh, or he is singing Bat Out of Hell or something. John Morrison is just wonderful. And all my friends, a lot of my brother's friends actually, are in CID, and they all think he's the most authentic copper on the television. They just think he's wonderful. But everybody says to me, why are you so nasty to Kenny?
Yeah, to
But
Kenny.
it's just, she's just pulling his legs. Not both of them, just
He's really strong.
But she's known him the longest, and they've got this great rapport. She can say what she likes without offense, and she quite enjoys having a go at him. But she's also ready to praise him when needed, as with anybody.
And then one last question.
Oh, I mean, Mac. She had several Mac. Yeah.
Are you getting another one?
Several Macs. She's got several. Case the episode with the slurry pit where she gets covered in slurry, we had to have two Macs because on the next scene she's wearing a Mac because it's not chronological. So, but
I think he was thinking of getting you a Christmas present, to be honest. He loves you so much. That was why he was wanting to ask you that one. And then quickly, my mum's got one for you as well. I love this question from her.
Hi, just to say I love the show. Say who you are first. My name's Eleanor, Edith's mum. And I was just wondering what you do to relax after the show, because I think you'll be all tensed up after you've finished filming. So what do you do after the show to relax?
Oh, hello, Eleanor. Well, my sidekick, usually, for most part since he came into it, Kenny Doughty, who plays Aidan, is in the flat next door to mine. And usually, honestly, on the way home, we don't even speak in the car, if he's in the car with me. We go into the flat, and if it's early enough, we turn on the soaps and just sit there in silence. Might have a glass of wine in silence, and then he clears off to his flat in silence. And it's just like, yeah, it was heavenly. It was just heavenly. Didn't have to talk. Been talking all day long. Failing that, I might do a crossword puzzle. I love puzzles.
Are you a Wordle person? Do you play Wordle in the New York Times?
I did. I've given that up. I've gone on to Blossom.
Yes, Blossom is fun too. I have a lot I can send you. My whole day is spelling bee. It's all word games. Literally, the moment I wake up, I have no friends left. That's it. It's interview.
And Tightrope. Have you done that one?
No, I don't know Tightrope.
I'm writing these down. I don't know about Blossom and Tightrope.
Blossom, I know. Tightrope. I'm writing it down, Brenda.
They also sound like really good pet names.
Yeah, I don't know Tightrope. Brenda, can I just say, even just chatting with you now for however long, you are so full of warmth and just a very loving persona. I really mean that. Like, I feel close to you, even though we're doing this, via the internet. But you have played characters that are quite antagonistic. And you played Mrs. Bennet in Pride and Prejudice, famously. You were in Little Voice. How do you turn this lovely lady off? I know that that's part of acting, and then turn on these sort of horrible people. Do you find empathy when you play more negative characters, or do you maybe enjoy playing them because they're different from, I guess, who you are?
Well, you see, I see the light and shade in everything, I do. What was the first one you mentioned?
Mrs. Bennet,
Mrs. Bennet.
Pride and
Mrs. Bennet.
Prejudice.
No, Mrs. Bennet, I would defend her. She's the only one taking the situation seriously. She's got 5 daughters, and as soon as, Donald Sutherland kicks the bucket, on the Mr. Bennet, I mean, Mr. Bennet, 'cause the house is gonna go to, the cousin, and the girls are all gonna be homeless. So she had a genuine problem that they all make fun of her about, and the book's written from the perspective of um the daughter, Keira Knightley character, Lizzie. Now, who doesn't make fun of their parents and think their parents are an embarrassment or
Mhm.
stupid? Or so it's all and defend Mrs. Bennet, and I'll stick up for her. I think she was doing the right thing in trying to. Get, I mean, the people she chose is questionable, but then in the time, he was a preacher. He's Tom Hollander, brilliant
Oh,
actor, just brilliant.
brilliant.
When he brought that little flower, I could have poked him in the eye, honestly.
Mm.
That it was so nauseating. Yeah. And, um, now, Little Voice.
Mm.
There was a redeeming feature in that. There was one scene that was cut, and it was when Little Voice was in bed and she got her covers over her head, and Mari's come and she says, "Oh, Elfie," she's got the cuts.
Oh,
She says, "Elfie, love, look, couldn't you just, no, I just want you to sit down the club, love. It'll just, and Ray say, he'll look after you. He'll make sure it's like, you've only got to do it the once, love, and then see how you go. I mean, if you don't like it, well, you don't have to do it. Are you listening, LV, love?" And she pulls the blanket down, and she's not there. She
okay.
said, "You little." But
Oh.
they cut the scene because it was too sympathetic.
I was gonna say your hiccups are too realistic. I would be worried as a viewer, just like, "Can we get her some water, please?" She's suffering in this film.
It's one of my favorites.
You're really good at it. It's
You know?
shocking. You're so good. We had Ruth Jones here who plays Mrs. Bennet in The Other Bennet Sister, which is a
Oh,
huge
she's wonderful.
we love
She's
her.
wonderful,
Have
yeah.
you seen The Other Bennet Sister yet? It's a wonderful show.
Oh, I haven't seen all of it, but the
Yeah.
ones I've seen, the bits I've seen, I want to see all of it because I think the young lady playing her is
Ella.
just wonderful. I think
Amazing.
she was in Call the Midwife, was she?
Yeah, she was in
Yeah,
Call
yeah,
the
yeah.
Midwife, and she was in The Lady as well, which was that really fascinating look into
Oh, what was she in that?
she was what the other kind of seamstress assistant to Sarah Ferguson in that. A smaller role, but
Oh, I remember
but
the
yeah.
scene. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah, I thought she was ever so good.
So good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Your hiccups are still better, but she's good, but give credit where it's due, I think. Um, Going back to The Woman of Substance, which I know that Edith and we just adored this show, and you take on the role of Emma Hart at the end of her life in the 1970s. And the very first line is, "What I've dedicated my life to is revenge." That is, to me, tattoo worthy. Like, I've never thought about a tramp stamp until I heard that. And I said, I could see myself doing that. Um, what is it like sharing this role with Jessica Reynolds, who plays the younger version of Emma Hart? Did you guys have a lot of interaction, or I know it's filmed completely separate?
Zero.
Zero. Wow.
0. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had none. We just met, as I described, on the
Yeah, that
moors, and that was I didn't see her again
No
until
kidding.
we'd finished. Yeah.
Is it
It
very
was
strange watching it?
but oh, no, see, I could watch it totally objectively because it was like looking into the past. I could see my history. It was great. So where there's all this information in the book and in the script that I could draw from, a la Mike Lee, it was there for me to see. So that was really great because I could bring a history with me. I still did all the same homework, of course,
Right.
but it was of great value to me for that.
Great
Because
costumes
not
as well.
only I didn't have to imagine it, I could see it. You
Mm.
know?
Great
Yeah.
wardrobe. Great
Oh,
wardrobe.
yeah.
Oh,
And the wig,
what
was that a
fun.
wig? Was that your
What
hair?
fun.
It was half and half.
Wow, it was so good. I kept looking like Meryl Streep wishes she had this hair. Let's be honest. I was genuinely like so amazed by it.
I liked it up the best, I
Mm,
think, in the final scene in episode 8,
yeah.
All those
Voices
things are
with a Fan.
important, aren't they? Like we were talking there about obviously like period stuff like, Mrs. Bennet. And this is a period piece as well, in terms of all that kind of costume jewelry and accessories. All those little things they're so important to kind of inhabit in the character in the world, aren't they? Do they
Yeah,
help you? Do you like that kind of
yeah,
side to it, the tangible stuff that's
yeah. It's
it's there
shoes.
to
I
play
always
with?
it's shoes. Um,
Always
it's
the
where
shoes.
yeah, it's how you feel, how you're in touch with the floor. That's where everything grows from. For me, it's always the shoes.
Escada shoes. You have a thing with shoes, Brenda. I'm sensing a trend.
Come to think about, I am a Pisces who've got are supposed to have a thing about feet.
Yes, I'm a
Didn't know
Cancer,
that.
water signs. I love a good shoe. I
Ah,
just have big feet, so it's a little harder for me. But yeah.
uh, well,
Oh,
I've got silly little feet, so
what a blessing. You're so blessed.
You talk about when you're on downtime and kind of switching off and watching the soaps and, that kind of thing. But, in terms of like watching TV or films as a fan, is there a show that you would like to see brought back? We love this thing at the end of the show where we like to ask our guests about revival, about reviving something.
yes,
Have you got a show or something that you'd love to bring
I
back?
would like to see armchair theatre. I think it was BBC. It might not have been. I don't know because I don't know what channel it was on. Well, it was 50% chance it was BBC because there are only a couple of channels. But it was a program where you have a company of actors and they would perform, as in the theatre, would perform a classic play. There's not a load of editing, but it was just like as if it was in the theatre. And I just wish that would come back.
Mm.
And I think it will be good for everybody. Not many people go to the theatre, um, and it might encourage them. They might find it a bit flat, one-dimensional, really, but if you haven't got all the editing and cutting and the close-up shots, rather like old black and white films when you had big scenes played in one shot.
Yeah.
I love those.
Mm.
And the camera would just follow the action if necessary, or it would be still, and you'd see a whole scene play out with no editing. I
Mm.
love that. Mm.
I remember in lockdown, actually, I think because of obviously the lack of people being able to go to theatres, Josh O'Connor and Jessie Buckley did a version of Romeo and Juliet that was filmed almost as live, and it was absolutely extraordinary.
Well,
It was
there you
just
go.
captivating. And I also think you mentioned the National Theatre earlier as well, and I think that's another great thing that came out of COVID was that them going online
Yeah,
and
I
going
just
into
joined that club.
and going into
Yeah,
cinemas so that people who don't have access to the theatre, where it is in location can still access the performance and
yeah,
get the kind of closest thing that they can to a theatrical experience, which is it's
yeah, and
great,
it's
just
a
opens
great
it up.
idea. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, it's amazing.
I love it.
Mm.
I think it should be for plays and musicals as a lover of musicals myself. I think we need to have the young people know what real theater is. I totally agree. Yeah. Well, this was fun. I love when we agree, Brenda. You were so
Oh my
lovely,
god, you're
funny,
the
wonderful.
best.
We could sit here with you all day, genuinely. Thank you so much
Oh,
for
Thank
being here.
you. Thank you so much for giving us your time today. I really appreciate
thanks
it.
ever so much. Thank you.
Congratulations on the show, Brenda. Thank you.
Thank
Congrats.
you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm kind of speechless after that, to be honest. That was Brenda Blethyn chatting to us like it was Auntie Brenda. She's amazing.
She is our auntie now, and I'm so glad that we now have like some sort of blood relation to her. She was so fabulous in every way. Every story she told, I love when a performer, an actress, actor, what have you, is also an incredible storyteller on their own when they bring their own life and paint a picture of it in such a beautiful way. And she was everything I could have ever dreamed of.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's got the most infectious and beautiful laugh. Like, I love how she just naturally, she's so relaxed. She's so, she's been there, she's done it. And she's just, I feel like we really got her and we really got a chance to spend time with her. And just that laugh that you hear is just, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I think my only note is I want to be better friends with her. And how do we do that now? This is my only criticism, I think, is how do we befriend her even further? She was so wonderful, and we are so grateful that she came onto the show.
Yeah, A Woman of Substance and Vera are available to watch now on BritBox. I'm gonna bid you farewell from my garden and the British countryside and the sound of the bird song today.
Well, I just love it. I loved everything that happened today. I'm so thrilled. And listener, don't worry, because we, of course, will be back next week with more insider info from more of your favorite British shows. Stay cool out there. We'll see you there. Bye, guys.
Ta-ra!
You've been listening to On the Box, hosted by Edith Bowman and Michelle Collins. The music was by Dario Forzato and Canio Claudio Tristano, courtesy of 411 Music. Research and additional material by Angela Channel. The mix engineer was Arlie Adlington. The production coordinator was Caroline Barlow. The production manager was Katie Baum. The production executive was Ian Hayden. The executive producers for BritBox are Alana McGahey and Diane Robina, and executive producer for BBC Studios is Pete Strauss. The producer was Rajiv Karia. On the Box is a BBC Studios production for BritBox.